Hello, hello. All right. I am trying it again. All right. So I got this little fancy studio set up now and testing it out. So again, if you guys are new to my channel, this is Dr. Melissa J. Williams. Live your best life doing what you love. And I teach small business owners how to grow and scale their business with government contracting. I actually teach them how to win government contracts, right? And I teach them as well how to leverage technology, right? So that they're working smarter versus harder. And if you guys been keeping up lately, uh, AI is everywhere. There's some type of AI on every program that's out there. Google, of course, Chat GPT. And so I want to, hello, how are you? All right, that means that my little technology over here is working. So I'm excited. Um, again, thank you so much for always joining my lives. I appreciate it and following me. I so appreciate it very much. But again, like I said, I teach small businesses how to work smarter versus harder, right? Because there's no need to do things that automation can help you do, right? Because we're wasting time, and we understand that time is more valuable than money. So, before we dive in, right, to understanding RFPs and RFQs, I want you guys to give this video a thumbs up. All right, and hit the subscribe button, and also smash that notification bell so that you won't miss videos like this one. All right, because I want you also to share this video and these videos with your friends and colleagues, right, that may be interested in growing and scaling their business. So again, understanding RFPs and RFQs, right? And avoiding mistakes that could cost you millions of dollars. So the reason I chose this topic today is because I am a SCORE mentor, and I actually talked to a mentee today, a small business owner that was interested in government contracting. And she actually had already submitted um, a proposal, an RFP, right? And I think it was for human services. I'm not really sure about that, but she submitted her RFP and she didn't win. And so she wanted to have a meeting with me to figure out what mistakes she made and how to avoid them in the future. So anyway, I was super excited to meet her, and to know that she had, believed in herself enough to submit her first RFP, right? And so I teach you guys in the $1 Trillion Client course that you don't have to have all of the answers, right? You just have to start. I need you guys to start, right? And so that's exactly what she did. And so what we did,
Sorry, I don't understand.
what we did today is we actually I've got so much automation, it's crazy over here. We actually reviewed her proposal and we addressed each page, right? And I talked to her about what she could have improved on and some things that we noticed that she missed. So we're going to go over that on this video. So if you guys are not familiar with what an RFP is, an RFP is a request for proposal, right? And so what that means is the government, a federal agency, be it local, state, or government, or federal, they are asking for they're asking for the seller or the business owner to provide them with a selling proposition on how they're going to provide this service, right? And typically for this particular student, she was going to deliver training, Again, I think it was to Department of Human Services. But they want to know your approach. They want to know your team. They want to know your timeline. And then they also will look at your price. All right. So a proposal is more like, like a little report, right? And in this report, it outlines all of those things that I just talked about, right? And so what we discovered when we looked at hers is that one of the things that she didn't do very well is that she didn't make her RFP, her request for proposal, stand out. It was very generic and it was like a cookie cutter, right? And so we went over that and I told her how to utilize Canva to make a template, and we actually did that, right? So I helped her to make a template so that she would be able to, in the future, be able to submit her proposal, right? And it stands out because you got to remember that these contracting officers that are receiving your proposals, oftentimes, I won't say every time, they are receiving, 20, 30, 40, 50 of these proposals, right? And so you want to make sure that your proposals stand out. The other thing that we noticed when we reviewed her proposal was that she failed to address the timeline. And so in a proposal, the proposal is going to give you all of the criteria for their evaluation, right? They may say, we're going to give you 50% for your approach. We're going to give you 10% for your past performance. We're going to give you 15% for your price. We're going to give you, right? So they outline exactly what they are going to evaluate you on, and they tell you exactly how many points each of those areas are. And so what we noticed when we reviewed hers today is that she did not address the timeline, right? She did not address the timeline. And so one of the things that we did to help her is I helped her create a checklist, right? A checklist that she can use for every proposals. Some proposals are going to have some things in them that others are not. But pretty much, you're going to have a statement of work, an SOW, right? And the statement of work is going to tell you exactly, right, what the organization is looking for, right? And so we created a template and a checklist that she can use moving forward. All right. And so that was pretty much what I found when I reviewed her proposal with her today. But again, the organization that won this proposal, it was a $320,000 proposal, right? And I think her price was a little less than that. I think she was like maybe 275, 280, something like that. So her price was pretty good. But she didn't make it professional. She did it, it was a cookie cutter Word document thing, right? And so what I want you guys to know is that you can avoid these mistakes, right? Because guess what? Guess what that would have meant if she had won that 300 and something $1,000 um proposal, right? That would have been a game changer for her because she's actually only been in business for 3 years. And I love it, love it, love it that she already understands that in order for her to be able to grow and to grow fast, right? She can win just one government contract, which is totally what I teach, and that what can help her to stabilize her business and give her business a strong revenue influx, right? And so she actually came from corporate America and she was a trainer, right? She was a trainer in corporate America. And so what she did is she's taken that information, that knowledge and that experience, and she's starting her own business and she's going after it, right? And so she understands, what type of training organizations look for. She actually has a lot of contacts already in the space, right? And so she has the past performance, right? Because she's utilizing her private and or commercial um, experience and performance, right, for her federal contracts, right? So you can totally do that. All right, so we kind of went over what she, I guess, failed to do, which kind of cost her, I'm going to say it cost her that proposal. All right. And so after that, after we talked about an RFP and we looked at it and we created templates and a system for her to move forward for future opportunities, we also went over an RFQ, right? So an RFQ is a request for quotes because she's thinking about maybe, bidding on some, going after some RFQs. And so for those of you that don't know, an RFQ is a request for quote. And so the agency is typically looking for the best price. All right. They're typically looking for the best price. Opposed to with an RFP, they're looking for a lot of stuff. They're looking for your team, your approach, your time, your price, you know what I'm saying, your past performance. They're looking for the whole package. However, with RFQs, the agency is just looking for the best price and the fact that you can deliver on that promise. So, a lot of individuals and a lot of my students, they go after RFQs, right? One particular gentleman down in South Carolina, he actually won a RFQ, and he was supplying tires, right? Tires, like tractor tires, like big tires. And he used the middleman strategy, which we talk about that. And that is that he found a company, right, that he could get the tires from, right, at a reasonable price. And he put a markup on it and he sold it to the Department of Transportation. And so some of the mistakes that I see people make when they're going after RFQs is they fail, right, to read the solicitation and they don't actually understand the requirements, right, or the statement of work, right, or the scope, right. You'll hear both of those words used interchangeable. But when you're going after an RFP or an RFQ, you want to make sure that you totally understand what the requirements are, right? And so another thing that many folks fail to do is they fail to put their profit margin on to the quote, right? And so in this particular example, my guy in South Carolina, he actually got the tires from a manufacturer, right? And then luckily for him, he was able to get an account. They gave him an account, a net 60 account, right? Because it had decent credit, and we teach you guys how to do that as well. But he got an account, net 60, told him, hey, I'm selling to the government. That was cool. And he was able to put a markup on it. And I think he used like 25, 30%, right? And on this particular solicitation, there was only like 7 bidders, which is really good. That's a low number, right? But there were 7 bidders and he actually won. But the mistake again that I find is that people forget to mark up the contract. They just say, hey, it's going to cost me $100,000 for these tires. But they forget to put their 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever your markup is. And as a project manager, I always make sure that I teach my students to, don't make such a tight profit margin, right? Because things sometimes go wrong, right? Things sometimes go wrong. And if they go wrong, you don't want it to cost you, right? Where instead of you making a profit and winning off of that particular proposal, you're actually losing, right? And so you want to make sure that you have enough cushion in your RFQ so that you actually win, right? Because sometimes, we don't even have any idea what could go wrong, right? It just does, right? And so you want to make sure you have a contingency percentage in there. I don't know, a good number, a good rule of thought, maybe 5 to 7 percent, right? 5 to 7%, right? On top of your profit margin, or on top of your profit margin, right? So anyway, other mistakes that folks make when they're going after RFPs, RFQs, again, they write an RFP like it's a thesis or dissertation, right? Contracting officers, they're so busy. All they want to do is they want to see a professionally put together presentation, right? They want to make sure that you address all of the items that are in the proposal. They want, they like bullet forms, they like short sentences, you know what I'm saying, that like maybe some graphs, a few graphs, but they want it to be straight to the point, right? Straight to the point. And then the other major thing, right, is if you go after an RFP, an RFQ, right, and you're not sure what it is that the agency is requesting, call, email, ask questions. Excuse me. Call, email, and ask questions, right? Don't assume, right? Don't assume that, they're asking this when they're not, right? And then after you call and or email, and I say email because then you have a paper trail. After you email, but sometimes it's okay to call. But after you email, you want to make sure you check your email for their response, right? And then if they ask you a question, right? And sometimes in dealing with federal agencies, local or state, the contracting officer may ask you something. You want to make sure that you respond to them quickly, right? Because when you respond to them quickly, it shows that you're responsive, right? That if they award you this contract, that you're going to what? Respond, and they'll be able to reach you and get you on the phone, right? And so I find that a lot of small businesses, they don't read the entire scope. They don't know exactly what they're asking. And then another thing, right? They miss the deadline. All solicitation is going to tell you when the solicitation is due. What time is due? How do you have to deliver it? Is it email or is it hand delivered? Also, you may run into proposals where there's a mandatory pre-bid conference, right? That you have to either attend either online and or in person. And so you want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to be able to put together your proposal and or your quote, all right? Review it, all right? Make the revisions, all right? Submit it. And then after you submit it, you want to make sure you follow up. You want to contact the contracting officer and say, hey, I submitted my proposal for XYZ project, and I just want to follow up to make sure that you received it and, and that there's no other questions or concerns that you may have. All right. Contracting officers, they like that, because that tells them that you're interested in that project, right? And that, you really, really want it, and that you're available if they have questions or concerns that they need to address with you. But guys, you can win with government contracting. You can go after these RFPs and RFQs and you can kill it, right? So you just have to make sure that you're organized, you create templates, you create checklists so that you don't miss anything, right? And you give yourself enough time. Don't be trying to go after a solicitation that's due in 4 days, right? In 4 days. Make sure you give yourself enough time to put together the solicitation, review it again, and submit it. And so, I like 2 weeks. I really like 2 weeks. Sometimes you might find that perfect opportunity and you may have 7 days. But, unless you're an expert at cranking these things out, you want to make sure that you give yourself enough time to be able to respond in a timely, professional manner. All right, guys, I know we covered a lot. But hey, we're on a roll. And I am, determined to ensure that my community, my tribe, that you guys are winning government contracts. And I know I've had a lot of you guys to reach out to me this week. Thank you so much. We actually went over 33 years on January the 6th. So we've been in business for 33 years. And so thank you guys so much for all of your well wishes, I really appreciate it. And I'm just letting you guys know, if I can do it, you can do it as well, right? You just need to have a system. And what has worked for us is winning government contracts, right? Winning a contract versus running after one client at a time. All right. And so another thing, if you guys didn't watch my video yesterday, I want you guys to watch that video. It's the Justice 40 Initiative. It's a lot of opportunities out there, guys, and I want you guys to be able to take advantage of that. All right. So with that being said, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, share it, leave some comments below. I want you guys to leave some comments below of how you've been able to be successful. I'm going to say you've been successful at RFPs and RFQs. All right. And if there's other videos and content that you want me to share with you guys, just put that in the comments too. And we will make sure that we make those videos for you. All right. So thank you guys for joining. Again, this is Dr. Melissa J. Williams. Live your best life doing what you love. You only have one life. So I want you guys to live it to its fullest. All right. Stay healthy, happy, and God bless. All right. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys. Bye.